Go ahead. We can all.
We're just gonna do, yeah, we're gonna do it this way. All right. So, just a very short bio. This is my year 27, teaching math. I'm up in a small town up in northern Illinois, right next to the Wisconsin border, and I teach math. So everything I've been doing and what you'll see today is math related. So I apologize if you're not a math teacher. I have only been using Formative just since the pandemic. And the only reason I got involved in it is because a coworker had been using it and she thought it would be a great way to start into the pandemic of a way that we can monitor homework. So that's where I got started. So what I use Formative for currently is I use it for everything. I do video lessons currently that will change now that we are now all in person this week, starting today. So that's going to change slightly, but I've used Formative for video lessons. I've used Formative for all homework and practice problems. I use Formative for all tests and quizzes and assessments. I use it for everything. I currently teach 4 different preps, 4 different classes. All of them have video lessons. And then I have my one course, which is pre-calculus, I actually do as a mastery flipped classroom. So it's all videos, but it's at their own pace. So let's talk about videos. The videos, there's different ways that you can create a video using Formative. And now I'm going to stop sharing because I'm going to show you the different ways that you can do this. So there's one way is using Formative's video, what they have in their system. So I'm going to pull up I'm going to share with you my very messy desktop right now. And I apologize, but it is what it is. And I'm going to create and show you how you can make your own video using GoFormative. And I keep calling it GoFormative, so I apologize. So in Formative, when you create a Formative,
your slide too.
You can't see it?
You're still sharing your slides.
You can't see. What about now?
Maybe just click the like end sharing and then go to the window you want to share and then share it again.
Sorry, guys.
You are totally fine.
This is, yeah. All right, so now can you see it?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So when you create an a Formative, here on the left is your video. You can create a video. This is new. This has just happened just recently. You can create your own video. You can upload a video and you can do a screen share. So it's kind of like a screencast where you can, if you have I use a smartboard, so I write on the smartboard and then it records it. You can do any one of those. I do not use this mostly because most of my videos have been pre-recorded. So, but this is one way that you can do this. I actually use this to give feedback to my students. So a lot of times I will give feedback through a video so that they can hear my voice and see what I'm doing at the same time, and that seems to help. The other way that you can do video is by uploading. All of my videos that I have created have been with a program called Camtasia. So I have embedded codes. So you can embed a code or a video in here. And so if I show you what one of mine looks like, so this is one of my video lessons for geometry. So this is one of my codes. So in my Camtasia, I create this link and then I plug that in and there's my video. I also, in the video links, I also create questions that the students have to answer. I'll show you all that in a second. Then I have sometimes, my videos are short. They're they're between 4 and 7 minutes. So sometimes there's more than one video. So this lesson had 2 videos and then, 3 videos. And then we had some questions. In my video lessons, I also require them to upload work or upload their notes. So if you take a look here, I just ask a question to show your work, and the kids then go into it and then they upload their picture. So they can just upload a picture using the icon here, and they put their notes up to the camera, takes the picture, and then they send it to me. So that works very well for me on how I get my videos out to students. So I apologize. Like I said, we're going to go back and forth, but we are. So that's kind of how I use the videos on how they watch them. The kind of nice thing about this is that obviously I get the results of their scores. So I get all their scores on how well they did. I also, though, the biggest thing that I love with Formative is that I can see real time. What I mean by that is obviously I can see the scores, I can see their notes, but I can also see what time and day they opened the video, what time and day they closed the video or submitted the video. I can also, if you can see down here, I can see which questions were right, which questions were wrong. But this gives me an idea of how long did it take them to watch a video. If an assignment was 2 5-minute videos and it only took them 3 minutes to complete it, then I know that they didn't answer everything correctly or they didn't watch it. But this is one way that I can monitor them that I like. After I do videos, I do all of my homework assignments inside Formative. There are 2 ways that you could create your own homework assignments. You could insert your own problems. However, since all of our curriculum is already been PDF'd, I just upload all PDFs, and which makes it so much easier. And then when I upload a PDF, I just assign certain problems that I want them to do. Right now in the pandemic, we don't necessarily assign every single problem, but the blue dots will tell them which numbers they're supposed to complete. And then I'll show you this in a second on how I assign it to students. This gives students which questions to answer. They then answer those questions. They upload their work to show their work. And there are 2 different ways, and I'll show you how they have 2 different ways that they can show your work. And then the feedback is what I love. And let me show you that. So go back to this. So I'm going to show you just a review. Okay, so this is a review that I made for my Honors Algebra 2 class. And as you can tell, I didn't assign every single problem. I did have a numeric as a possibility, and these are all the different possible answers that they could have. I get an opportunity. This type of a problem didn't have any work that they really needed to show. But when we get to question number 3, I want them to show work. So I click on show your work. I always want to make sure that I can see how they're solving problems so that I can help them if they get them wrong. So once I do this, this is where I assign it. So if I assign a problem, this is Honors Algebra 2. Now, first of all, our school has the school-wide version. We have a paid version, and we have several teachers in our district that uses this. So I don't know if all of these functions you will have with a free version, but the version that we have, this is what I use. I love to use the schedule and open and schedule and close times. I have deadlines for homework assignments. So I can pre-plan that, and all I do is click on it. I can assign it to open tomorrow morning at 7:30 in the morning. And then I can have it close tomorrow afternoon at 3:30. So that's 15:30. And now it'll open and close. You could have a time limit, but I don't have time limits for homework assignments. After submission is pretty big. I allow my kids to view it. They can always see it, but once they hit that submit key, they cannot edit it. So there are other options. You could allow them to edit if you wanted to. You can make it completely hidden. But for me, for homework assignments, I keep it visible, but I don't let them, after they hit submit, they cannot change it. You could do return scores. I usually do it instantly. And that tells the kid right away if it's a right answer or if it's a wrong answer. This is huge for those kids that really want to know. So I use this on homework assignments all the time. Return the correct answer. You have this option. I actually only use this option when I do assessments. So I allow those to come back when it's closed. This option here, display the questions in a random order. Because I'm using the PDF, I don't use this option. Otherwise, it'll scramble all of those blue numbers. So then when I assign it and it goes straight to my Google Classroom or their Google Classroom. So everybody in the class has it and it's good to go. Here's the part that I actually really like. I'm going to stop sharing because I want to find the part that I like to use a lot. I do a lot of feedback. So if you can see my, and I can't find it. Let me see this again. I love to watch students. I know this sounds weird, but I really love to watch students working on the assignment live. So as they are working on it, whether they're in my classroom at the time or they're remote, I'll show you. I will say, oh, you're missing, you have question number 1 is wrong. Did you look at, you multiplied 3 times 4 wrong. Double check number 1. So I catch it before they submit it. And that way I know which ones are right and which ones are wrong, and then I can help them immediately. The other thing that I love to do is when they have the work, I then show them what they did right and what they did wrong. And I just did this today, which was awesome because of the fact that in my pre-calc class, we're doing a pretty intense topic, and a lot of students struggle with this topic. So I pull up their homework assignment, and I want to show you how this works and what I end up doing. So I'm going to hide all of their names so you can't see their names. And then I'm going to share my screen. So if you take a look at this homework assignment, I have all of their work. So this is verifying identities in math, and it's pretty intense. Now, if you can tell, some people like just to upload their pictures of their work. And then some people actually like to write on the whiteboard. So they have a whiteboard that the students can write on. Now, the part that I like about it, if I go to click on total, you can see all the right and wrongs. But if I take a look at these little dots here, that means that there's been a comment. Okay, so this student gave me a comment. And if you can look at, I don't know where to start. I can't figure out the numbers. They uploaded a picture, and then I'm talking back to them. So I can then comment to them, this is where you should start. Then they send me another picture. I'm stuck again. Where do I go? And then I start, and it's a great way to communicate and give feedback. I have also done, I'm hoping I can find, I've also done a lot of, I'll write on their screen and they can then see my screen. So here it is. So if you take a look at, this is me. I wrote this, I go on to their picture that they uploaded. I find their mistake, I circle it, I explain to them what happened, and then I send it right back. So it's a great way to say, this is where your mistake is that I found in your math work, now change it. This is the part that I love the most. It's really gotten me a lot of hands-on in a world of remote learning, but it's also helped me really reach to some of these kids that may struggle, especially in pre-calc remotely. That's been difficult. So let's go back here. So we'll go back to share my screen. All right, so slideshow. Okay, so I use Go Formative a lot for feedback. So I'm trying to get back to the screen. Again, I apologize, guys. All right. So that's for the most part homework. Any kind of worksheets, homework, that kind of stuff. Assessments. I also use Formative for all of my assessments. There are two ways that we have done this. We have created our own, and I'll show you some of those, and you can upload a PDF. I'm sure everybody else is having the same issue with the amount of sharing answers with one another. So we've done the best that we can to try and eliminate that. So let me show you what I've done to eliminate some of those options. To create a video, to create an assessment, I'm going to show you one that we did in my algebra or my geometry class. Okay, so one way that you can create an assessment is you can add your own questions. So this is an individual question. All you have to do is hit this little plus button, and you can add any kind of question that you want. So this was a multiple choice question. I can create my own. I can, so if you can see, these are graphics that I have inserted in there, and you can do that using this plus button. I have added text boxes for the math symbols so that the students can understand what I'm talking about. All of this you can do by each question, okay? So we created this, and the nice thing about it is there's two of us that teach geometry. So what we do is we open this Formative and we both work on it. We both add questions to it at the same time, and then we both give feedback on it and whether we like it or not like it and things like that. We also then can add your point values to each question. And we use, in this assessment, we use lots of different options in test questions. These were multiple choice, that's multiple choice. This was a matching area about definitions. So we did a vocabulary and the definitions, and the students had to match which one was which. Multiple choice, numeric, just a lot of different math items. That's one of the reasons why we also like this, is because the students can actually type their answers mathematically, and it picks everything up. It picks up fractions and degree symbols and pi symbols and things like that. That's huge for us. So this is one way that you can create it. What we do when we create an assessment like this is, when we do this, we use the option display questions in a random order. So what that does is it takes all of those questions. So if I had 15 questions, it takes those 15 questions and it just scrambles them. So every student gets the same 15 questions. They just don't get them in the same order. So it kind of eliminates a lot of cheating, so that some kids really have to try harder to call somebody and say, what's your answer to number 2? Well, my number 2 is not your number 2. So it takes a little bit more time for them to cheat. So we've done this. So this is one way that we've done this. Another way that we have done assessments is we have added it as a PDF. So this one assessment, I added as a PDF and everything's in here. Now, what I did do is I made 2 assessments. So I made 2 totally different ones, 2 different versions, just like I would give 2 versions in a classroom. So this is 2 versions, but now what I would do is that I would assign that to different people in the class. So you can do that by clicking this top button. And now I apologize, you're seeing names and you should not be seeing names. But you can click on each person that you want to give that certain assessment to. In this pandemic, we have gotten to the point where we've done 5 versions of geometry assessments, and we assign them to different students throughout all of our sections. So every section has different questions or different assessments for each person. That has helped a lot with the cheating. But that is how we create assessments. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. Oh, maybe I can do this. Hey, I think I figured it out. Can you see the whole screen? I think I figured it out. All right, so that's
yes, we can see it whole. It looks
great. And, no big deal. It's only half over, no problem. But creating assessments, that's how I use this. That's how I use, I just pick and choose which students get which assessments, or I randomize it. And this is what it kind of looks like when I do. So this is one version of a quiz. And this is the different people that had that version. So on this one, I had 5 versions of a test. We did do asynchronous days. And so how I do asynchronous days is that I check their activity. This is the other thing that I think is really, really, really cool. And that is if you go to, let me share my screen again. If you go up here to where it says classes, okay, if you take classes, and I'm going to try and move my screen. Can you guys see? I'm trying not to let you guys see the students' names. And this is going to be kind of a false. Today was our first day back from spring break. So this data is going to be way weird. But if you can take a look, do you see my full screen?
We can see that you're showing just like the time.
Oh, perfect. That's what I want. Okay. So this will tell you, like, this person just was on 4 minutes ago. So I know when I'm taking attendance for asynchronous that this person is active and is working, whereas this person hasn't been on it in 12 days. So this is a great gauge for me as a quick guide on who's been working and who has not been working. The other place that I see that gives me that data that I need is inside, and I'm going to, oops, that's not what I wanted. Inside each activity. So I can tell, I'm going to just randomly pull up one and hide my names. All right, so I can look, let me share my screen now that everything's hidden. If I click on their name, I have everything that comes up on the right side. After every single question, it gives you a date and timestamp. So they answered this question on 3/22 at 9:14 in the morning. So this is kind of interesting when I see some kids working at 1 or 2 in the morning and you wonder why they're behind or they're not understanding stuff. So this is all kind of neat. The other thing that I also like, if I hover my, let me take this off. If I hover this over this check mark, it'll tell me the date that it opened and the date that they submitted it. If they accidentally hit the submit key, they have to tell me and I can unsubmit it for them. And all I have to do to unsubmit it is click on it. And up here in the 3 dots, there is a undo submission. If you click on it, then it's going to ask you, you really want to do this? And now it's unsubmitted. So now they can go back and finish it and then turn it back in. So it's just a one way. And now if somebody like this person obviously finished this assessment or this assignment, but they didn't submit it, I can then force submit it for them by hitting force submit. And now it's submitted for them. So those are just some of the things. Let me, and I think this is the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting or kind of nice to know. So as you look at my screen, this is how I kind of organize this. I use this file all the time. So these are my current classes that I have, the 4 current classes that I teach. This is last year's Go Formatives that I had. This is first semester's. So I create files and then inside each file, I have each unit. So then I have each unit has the videos. So all my videos are there. All of my homework assignments are there. And then my assessments are there. So it just helps quite a bit in just organizing stuff. So then after this school year, I can then take all of these classes and I can move them, because you can move them into, if I just click on this, I can move it. I can move it to one of my other folders. So I can move it back to this folder. And now instead of saying that this is first semester folder, I can just cross it out and say this is 220, 221. So that way I have everything organized and put together. But that's kind of how I use it. I use it for a lot of different things. Now that we are full in boat, like everybody's here, I will still be using it. So there's nothing, it's still going to be used. It's just that now it's going to be a little bit different. So I don't know. It was really fast. I apologize for the technology.
No, always okay. We've all been there. So if anyone has any questions, definitely write them in the Q&A or the chat right now, or the raise your hand, I think. And so I'm curious, Sue, you said maybe, you use it right now for virtual, and then when you're back or when you're hybrid, it might be a little bit different. What do you foresee, what do you foresee maybe being different, or like you might do differently once you're back in person?
I think the only thing at this point that I will probably do differently, actually, there's probably 2 things. One is that instead of students uploading a picture of their work, they're just going to have to submit answers. That'll give them that immediate feedback if it's right or if it's wrong. If it's wrong, then I'm going to ask them to upload their work so that I can help them determine where they did or made their mistake. That's the first thing I was going to change. The second thing I'm changing is the assessments. Right now, assessments on the computer is a nightmare in the sense that there is so much non-authentic answers. And so I need to start eliminating that before I bring it back in, if that makes any sense. So my in-person kids, we're going to be doing paper and pen assessments for probably, the first 2 or 3. and then I will bring Formative back and we'll do it back on the computer.
Got it. Very cool. Well, let's see. I'm going to wait like 1 minute for any questions, but now I'm also going to put in 2 weeks, we have another webinar coming up. It is about academic success for all students in teacher collaboration. So 2 teachers and on a team where they work together very closely every day with Formative, and then differentiation strategies for those kids that are struggling. So I'm going to post that link for the registration in the chat. And then I also had someone who has a great suggestion for Formative. And we're always open to taking suggestions. So actually, if you go to your Formative account and you click feature requests, you're able to submit feature requests to us. You can look through feature suggestions that already exist. I think there's a ton in there already. So definitely add your votes. Do all that stuff, and definitely tell us, what you'd love to see in Formative. Okay, so Justine asked, someone put in the chat that they like adding slides on the fly. Oh, I think she meant adding questions, Christina. So when I see, okay, so when she sees a student didn't get a problem, they can add another one. Very cool. Awesome. Well, Sue, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate and loved hearing everything you had to say. I know I learned quite a few things tonight, and I hope everyone else did as well. And y'all have a good night. Bye.
Thank you. See ya.